You lost me with the cat, man. What the fuck?
Interesting topic here. For those that don't know, a few days ago, Twitch made good on their promise where they swore they would be making bot detection and eradication a priority. They finally called attention to an issue that has plagued Twitch since the beginning. Since the genesis of Twitch, in the primordial soup of streaming, there has been bots that have infected.
Because if you think about it, bro, that shit really cheating. That shit really not fair, bro. Because if you really think about it, boom, right? That nigga go to a category. That nigga buying 300 viewers, but he really got like 2 niggas in there. And there's another nigga at the bottom with 2 viewers. You feel what I'm saying? Because, look, I'm going to do it live in this hoe. When you go to the joint, say you go on browse. You click just chatting. Bitch, you can't even do low to high? I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of fucked up. That's kind of fucked up. So you telling me you could do high to low, but you can't do low to high. So for you to go down and see niggas, you gotta literally scroll down. But for you to see the niggas at the top, you just automatically get high to low. I'm not gonna lie, Twitch, it's kind of fucked up. I feel like you should bring a low to high. How the fuck? I have never in my life seen a website with a high to low, but not a low to high. Even when you could buy shit like most expensive to least expensive, you could do least expensive to most expensive. Bitch, even Roblox got high to low, low to high. But for instance though, like, say for instance, I don't know. This nigga Biden, right? He got 40K. If you see a nigga with 40K and you see a person with like 18K, your average nigga go click the person with 40K because they have more viewers. So it's like, oh damn, he must be the most, he's more entertaining. But in reality, they probably got the same amount of live viewers. But since he's what's the big word? Fluctuating his numbers, you get what I'm saying? Type shit, bro. So it's really cheating or some shit. Let's go to the bottom. Let me see what's at the bottom. Like, what's really at the bottom of Twitch though? Bitch, is he watching anime? Damn, like this is what I'm talking about. Like, bro, who the fuck about to do this to keep scrolling down like this? Or my internet just ass. Now, I think my internet might be, but who the fuck about to be doing? No one about. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody gonna do this. Nobody about to just sit here and just wait until this shit hits 0. There's so many better things you can do with your life. Look at this shit. Now I think my Wi-Fi is just a little bit ass, so that's why the shit not. But you get what I'm saying. Like, look at like, bitch, no. I was gonna go see, but I don't even want to see anymore because that shit gonna take fucking forever.
The platform. And for the longest time, Twitch had gone really hands-off. They said, you know what, if we don't put our hands on the stove, we won't know if it's hot. But recently they said that they were going to actually be directly attacking this bot.
No, I actually got the wrong thing. I got the beef and broccoli, which I don't. I never had beef and broccoli before, but it's pretty good.
Issue. And a few days ago, they rolled out their first targeted strike here on bots, and boy howdy, it was a doozy. Apparently the overall viewership on Twitch went down as much as 24% compared to.
That's actually not good at all. That means it's like mad niggas botting. Like, if you think about how many people are actually on Twitch and how much the viewership actually is, and it went down 24% after they cracked down on some of those bots. That's fucking crazy.
Last week, with many big streamers suddenly losing thousands of viewers, not just big streamers, streamers of all shapes and sizes lost tons and tons of viewers, like across the board. It was a pretty big purge of invalid traffic, bot activity. As I said a couple days ago, I was pretty surprised with how hard they hit the ground running here. I thought it would just be like lightly poking the bear, like, oh, we got rid of like 100 bots. Big W, Twitch is saved. But no, they kind of like, they dropped a bomb here. It was a pretty big deal. So big, in fact, that a lot of streamers, many suspected of being a view botter, had just decided not to stream for like the last week or so. Inexplicably. Just randomly deciding not to stream during the bot purge. Which of course has everyone raising an eyebrow. And of course,
I've always wanted to do the eyebrow thing, but I never could. I never could do it. I don't know how you do it. I remember I used to look up tutorials. I used to look up because I think the Rock actually did a video on how to do it. Because back in the day, they used to be like the Rock's thing, but I can't do that shit. Most I could do is like one of these, just like. I try my best to do it, but I can't. I could never do it, and I always felt like a failure because I never learned how to do it.
All of this has led to a lot of finger pointing, a lot of shit stirring, a lot of spitting, a lot of farting and coming. It's been kind of pandemonium in the streaming space as people are noticing view counts have been dropped from a lot of streamers, and in some cases drastically. So the natural conclusion people are drawing is they were view botting. And as I predicted, and as everyone predicted, nobody wants to own up to being privy to their channel being view botted because that's against the rules. They would get banned. No one's ever going to admit to it. So it's been a lot of cope and a lot of excuses. Like, oh, it must have just been this stranger over here that's been doing this and I had no fucking clue. I'm glad that it's getting solved. Everyone is talking about this as a positive thing. Meanwhile, in the background, there are people that no doubt are shaking their fist in anger.
I want to know who botting though. Like, who botting? Who botting on Twitch? Like, who's a big streamer who's botting on Twitch? Because I understand why small streamers will bot to a certain point. I feel like most niggas will probably bot for like, they will bot probably like to get like affiliate, or they will bot until they get a community, and then after they build a community,
demanding that their botting service get it under control and fix it because they need those viewer numbers to go back to where they were. Because obviously, if it doesn't, people are going to be aware there was some fraudulent activity there. And the only question remains, did the streamer know? Like, were they guilty of paying for the service themselves? Or was it like an org they were affiliated with? Because according to a lot of the data, all of which is public, by the way, you can see all of the viewer numbers post and pre-purge. All of this is public. So you can see a lot of streamers that are affiliated with an org, like OTK is the big one everyone's talked about. But not just OTK, there were other orgs coming under fire as well. Namely, FaZe was another one.
Chill, boy. Chill, boy. Chill, boy. Chill, boy. Chill.
One that people had a lot of question marks over their head with because a lot of the streamers affiliated with FaZe also took huge drastic drops in their viewership during this purge. So the speculation is that these orgs are boosting the numbers of some of the streamers under their umbrella.
Let y'all know now, we at FaZe, we don't bot. We don't do none of that shit, bro. We just have fun, bro. That's it, bro.
Because by having more successful streamers under their brand, it's good for the brand. Obviously, the motivation is to make more money because you can make significantly more doubloons if the streamers that are under your blanket are more popular. So if you boost your streamers by thousands upon thousands of viewers that they don't legitimately have, you can still bring those numbers to brands that would be none the wiser in the partnership. And according to some other streamers, there's been actually quite a bit of talk from streamers about orgs even like softly admitting to doing this in certain cases. I don't know like all the particulars around that, but there has been like a lot of discussion that orgs do actually do this.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's her. I wouldn't say that I feel like common, but I feel like orgs probably been doing that. Because it kind of makes sense for them to do that. Not to say that what they're doing is right, but I feel like it does in a sense. It makes sense why they're doing it, obviously, to make their niggas look, you know, more popping than what they are type.
It's not just a full-blown conspiracy theory, but then the question becomes, well, do the streamers under these orgs know about that? Like, there's just a lot of questions now after all of this bot detection and all.
That's true, because if anything, if say somebody do get caught, right? Say they didn't even know, it's gonna be hard for them to beat that though, you know what I'm saying? Like say somebody was getting bodied, but he didn't know, or say he in a org and he didn't know that they were botting him. It would be hard for that person to like beat the allegations, bro. It'd be really hard.
All this bot purging. It's been a flood of questions like Yahoo Answers just got revived. Did the streamers viewbot themselves? Was it a member of their community viewbotting the streamer? Did the streamer, are they a victim of like a stranger or a malicious bad actor trying to artificially boost their numbers to potentially ruin their reputation?
It could be a thing too. A nigga could hate on you so bad he purposely bot you just to make you look bad. That's another one.
reputation? Is there a super fan of the streamer that's trying to boost their favorite streamer to make them more popular because they just love them so much? Does the streamer know that the org they're affiliated with might be boosting their numbers? Just so many questions. And another big discussion that's come from all of this is about sponsors. Allegedly, some sponsors have been botting sponsored streams in order to make it seem more popular to the average viewer. So they'll artificially boost those numbers so it seems like there's more hype around the product, and they've also been...
That's not surprising. That's not surprising at all either, though. Brands doing that, that's not surprising at all. Because that kind of makes sense too. Now, like I said, not to say what they're doing is right, but it makes sense for them to offer that. Is what I'm saying.
Been accused of botting even beyond sponsored streams because by being partnered with that streamer, it's better for their brand if that streamer is perceived as more popular. So they'll boost them even beyond the sponsored stream just so that way they can use it as marketing material like, hey, look, we're partnered with this big guy. And meanwhile, a lot of the viewership is botted by the sponsor, allegedly. But I also want to mention that in only 2 days here, it seems that there are some botting services that have already found ways of circumventing these bans. There are some streamers that have miraculously bounced back after a 3-day plummet.
Okay, who botting though? Let's see. Who botting though? Who botting? Okay, look, my follow list. We got Queso at 60. Lacey and Marlon, 54. DDG, 41. Aiden, 2. Swag, 2. Kyrie, 1. Sauce, 100. Who botting though? Like, how can you even tell if a nigga botting? I don't understand. I'm not...
To not only where they were, but in some cases even higher,
I'm
despite
not on that level yet.
nothing changing in their content and doing nothing different. So it does look like in certain cases, some bots have found a way to evade this. So I'm hoping this isn't Twitch's only action here.
Yeah.
Against bots, because as I mentioned, it's going to be an ongoing tug of war. And it is good for the entire platform to do your best to stop bot activity. Fake, phony, baloney numbers are...
But at the same time, it is right for them to stop the bots. But when they got rid of the bots, it dropped 24%. I'm just saying. They got rid of the bots. Viewership dropped 24%. At the end of the day, Twitch is a business.
Are bad for all of the streamers on the platform, except for, of course, the ones that are paying to win in the streaming space. Which is another thing. There is a very real possibility, and something that has been talked about by some of the biggest streamers, that a strategy that used to be used and is probably still employed to a certain degree, is some streamers would bot their streams for a while to try and grow an organic viewer base.
Bro, I already said this, bro. Yo, niggas be thinking I don't be knowing shit, bro. I be knowing shit, bro. I already said this, though, bro. Yeah, I said that at the beginning. That's fact. That's what niggas used to do, bro.
And then they would completely stop paying for the botting service and just let the organic numbers start to take over as more people assimilate into the community. So, of course, this is never going to detect that strategy, but even still, Twitch needs to do everything it can to stop bots because it is very bad for everyone on the platform to just let this rampant issue continue and spiral out of control. Now, I think I need to explain why I have this perspective, and so many people have this perspective, because I've seen a lot of people downplaying this as, like, not a big deal, like, this is a fucking nothing burger. Who cares about view counts? If you can pay for it, you should do it.
Yo, it sound like he rapping.
I think I need to explain.
What if I put a beat over it, though? I don't know what I'm doing, but what if I put a beat? What kind of beat do I think it'd be cool on, though?
The argument kind of mirrors something from many moons ago when Twitch was still pretty new. I'm going to take you back to the past to talk about some titties and ass. There was a huge trend on Twitch for a while with something called booby streamers, if anyone remembers that, where there was a trend on Twitch where streamers would try and...
Let me stop you right there, Charles. Listen, I know about that era. I do. I know about that era quite well, actually. That's all I'm going to say, though. That's all I'm going to say. I just know. I was a part of
wear the most revealing clothing that Twitch would possibly allow in the most sexual of positions and constantly putting cleavage as like the main hook to draw viewers in. And this drew a lot of outrage because people believed that by...
What happened to Strawberry Tabby? I heard she was a little, you know. And she's still here? What be happening?
Can you show me? Kids there is actually crazy.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to do some research.
Yeah, I'm ready to go home. Fucking trip. He just texts me right now saying, "You missed your chance." I just
Yo, they fell off, bro. They fell off. They fell off, bro. Hashtag save the youth, though.
By doing that, they were stealing viewers from their streams because they weren't showing cleavage and everything. It was a huge debate that raged on for years, actually, and people were always split on whether or not that was the case. Was this streamer with cleavage stealing a viewer from this guy over here who was building a brazen bull in Minecraft? Well, the jury was always out.
I don't know, but at the end of the day, what kind of people do you really want in your community, though? You feel me? Do you want a nigga that will sit there for hours and just watch that stream because she's showing a little bit of titties? You know what I'm saying? Me personally, you know, I would call that a fucking loser. Me personally, I wouldn't want that nigga to be in my shit. But hey, to each their own.
But in this
like
case, there is clear data, clear cut, irrefutable evidence that viewbotting your streams and fucking leapfrogging your way ahead of everyone that is legitimately streaming with less viewers than you does actually steal the viewers from them. You are directly competing in the exact same content, but you have now floated more visibly to the top through artificially inflating your numbers, fundamentally paying to win, and cheating the system. That 100% does take viewers away from the actual streamers on Twitch. Across the board. It's not a debate, and it's not like a competitive advantage. You are cheating. You are breaking the rules of the website too, by the way. Twitch just doesn't choose to enforce them very often. They have just let this go unchecked for an extremely long period of time. But it's not allowed. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So this, again, is not a debate. So, the problem is, that shit sucks. That is bad, not only for all the streamers that are doing it legitimately, but it's also bad for the platform. I'm actually kind of surprised Twitch doesn't face more hot water for their handling of bots for this long, because while Twitch on their back end can identify fraudulent traffic and adjust your ad revenue...
I'm not gonna hold you off topic, but looking at Charlie, like, looking at him like in this sort of way, like, in this shit, and like, looking at him in this way, like the way that he talks, the way he is, how he carry himself, he's like a no-nonsense type of guy. You feel me? Yo, you think this nigga like 6'4" though. Just saying. I thought he was a tall man. Actually, he is a tall man. Let's keep like he's a tall man and like and everything else but height type. You feel me? Now I'm not no little nigga, but I'm just saying though. Everything else but height, he's a big man.
For it. That is something they've talked about before, how like if you viewbot a stream up to 2 million viewers instantaneously and then just start farming ads, Twitch will go and analyze that traffic to see if it's...
Oh my gosh, thank you, life. Oh my gosh, thank you, life. Yo, bro. Oh my gosh. Thank the Lord. The can spilled over. Guess what it fell into? It fell into here. Oh my gosh. Thank you, God. Jesus Christ. That would have been
real, and they will adjust your earnings on it. I've seen them talk about that. While Twitch can do that on their back end and not lose their ass on that, you know who can't? Brands that work with streamers. The way a brand partnership works when it comes to streamers is they base your pay on your metrics. And the metrics that you provide, well, that's not going to account for bots. They can only go off the information that is accessible. And they don't have that back-end ability that Twitch has to go in there and see, well, who's a real viewer versus a fake one? Like, how many bots are here? They only have your metrics. So that's your average viewers, which could easily be hyperinflated because of bots. So what streamers can easily do, and definitely have done, is they boost all of their numbers to really high levels that they really are not achieving organically. It's not real viewers. It is all fraudulent, invalid traffic from botting services. They will inflate their viewer numbers. Then brands will approach them, or they will approach brands about doing a partnership or a sponsored stream, and they'll provide those viewer numbers, which will have the brand then give them higher pay than what they should be receiving. And the brand will pay this money under the impression that it's being served to X amount of viewers. And those viewers, they're assuming, are real, legitimate human beings with a pulse. But in reality, a lot of times, it's being served to bots. Aren't even there, aren't consuming it at all. So they're paying a lot of money to be put in front of bots without their knowledge. In some cases, of course, that's not every case. As I mentioned earlier, there are some brands that have been accused of botting the sponsored stream itself in order to float more visibly to like Twitch in whatever category they're...
I don't like how he looking at me though. Like he looking like, look at his face. He's looking like dead at me. Like I don't like that, bro. And like he making me mad, like uncomfy type. He's just doing this, like he just looking like I can't do those. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. Stop looking at me, bro. Chill.
in. So there are definitely some brands that are more than fine with using botting services to make it seem like it's more hype and there's more interest in this sponsored stream. Like, wow, there's 20,000 viewers here to watch, the poop that took a pee 2.0 just dropped. Look at all these people in here that are watching this sponsored stream. Meanwhile, it's the agency itself that is paying to boost those numbers. So both of these things happen, where a brand will be none the wiser that what they are paying for is not getting served to real human beings that they expect it to. It's getting served to bots. And there are some brands that pay to actually just use the bots to try and generate this artificial hype around something. The way that bots function in the Twitch ecosystem is fucking crazy. I really am kind of surprised Twitch hasn't faced more problems from these companies for it. Like companies that might feel defrauded. Like they paid hand over fist to these streamers based on these viewer numbers only to learn, well, they're all being botted. It is very clear botting is a huge issue on Twitch. When they finally took their first real step in fighting against this menace, their overall platform viewership dropped 24%. And that's just the first snowball in an avalanche.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I feel like if it start dropping too much, I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like they go slow down with stopping the bots. Because
of bots, I imagine. That is the first wave. Can you imagine if Twitch actually deleted every bot from the platform? I wonder how high that percentage drop would have gone. You know what I mean? Now, in reality, I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's a very tall order to fight and delete every bot when these...
It's like with cheaters, Like, you could do every patch, everything, but you never go get rid of all of them.
Services are constantly going to be doing everything and spending tons and tons of money of their own to evade bot detection because they have so many clients that use them. There will probably always be bots on Twitch. Not only on Twitch, it's obviously on YouTube and every other streaming platform as well. I understand that. And also, I feel as though Twitch might be apprehensive about this anyway. Like, if Twitch had a magic button that they could press it, and it would guarantee every bot and all invalid traffic would be banned on Twitch from this point forward and could never return. It'd basically be like in K-pop Demon Hunters when they fully seal away all the demons, they can't return. If Twitch could do that right now, I think they would be very apprehensive about it. Because we just saw them take one step in fighting bots, and they lost 24% of their viewer base over the last few days that it's been there. Like, that's a huge drop, and if they did it even harder, that number would only climb, and
Facts, it's facts. Nah, he's really stealing my swag, though. I'm not really fucking with that. You know what I'm saying?